Hi everybody! I love self-portraits, and most artists love self-portraits too. Every year in kindergarten, that's the first thing I teach my kindergartners, how to draw themselves. How to draw themselves with their head, their body, their arms, and their legs, and sometimes artists like to just do their head and shoulders. Artists over their whole lives practice drawing themselves or painting themselves, and it's a way of recording what they look like when they're young, when they're a little bit older, middle-aged, and sometimes even into their old age. There's a very famous artist who drew and painted herself over and over and over again in many different ways. And I love to teach her at the end of the year so that we can learn self-portraits one more time and compare how much we learned from September to June. All right, so today I'm going to be reading a book called Frida Kahlo, and it's published by Prestel, and there's a little subtitle, a title underneath the title called The Artist in the Blue House. I'm not going to be reading the entire book today, but if you'd like to check it out, you can check it out from your library or a bookstore near you. All right, shall we get started? Let's go. Frida Kahlo, The Artist in the Blue House. What a proud-looking woman. But she also seems a bit serious, with her hair pulled up and wound into a turban. Even her eyebrows, which meet in the middle, make her appear rather stern. But look more closely, those same eyebrows resemble a bird in flight. In fact, birds are everywhere in this picture. Two brightly colored parrots are perching happily on the woman's shoulders, and two more are sitting in her lap. Who could this woman be? Where does she come from? Who painted her? The woman in the picture painted her own portrait. Her name is Frida Kahlo, and she lived in Mexico. In her paintings, the artist tells the story of her life. The photo above shows Frida with other members of her family taken in her parents' garden when she was a little girl. In the painting opposite, the red ribbon in her hand leads to her grandparents. Frida's mother's parents, top left, were Mexican, and her father's parents, top right, came from Europe. They look different, don't they? In the middle of the picture, Frida painted her parents on their wedding day. Little Frida is already in her mother's womb. When Frida was 18 years old, she was in a terrible accident. The bus she was traveling on ran into a streetcar, and Frida was badly injured. In this pencil sketch she made a year earlier, the crash can be clearly seen. Frida is lying on a stretcher, all bound up in bandages. The accident completely changed her life, forcing her to spend months in bed. It was during that time that she started painting to help deal with the pain and the boredom. Even years later, Frida often had to paint lying down in bed because she was too ill to sit up. Can you see who the people are in this painting? They are the artist's parents and grandparents. In this picture, Frida looks like an exotic princess. She is wearing the traditional costume of the Tehuana, a proud and confident people who lived in Mexico for many centuries. Frida always liked to dress up. As a young girl, she often wore men's suits, and when she was older, she dressed up like a Tehuana woman. Lace frames her beautiful but serious face, and on her forehead, directly above her curved eyebrows, is the face of a man. His name is Diego Rivera, and he was also a famous Mexican painter. But why did Frida paint him as if he were inside her own head? Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo met because Frida wanted to show the well-known artist her paintings and find out what he thought of them. Diego felt that she was a very talented painter. Frida and Diego soon fell in love and married. In fact, Frida painted this picture, opposite, from a wedding photo. She seems so small and delicate next to such a big man, and her tiny feet hardly seem to touch the ground. Looking at this painting, it is easy to understand why the couple were sometimes called the dove and the elephant. Frida admired Diego both as a person and an artist, as this picture of Diego holding an artist's tools seems to show. He was the great love of her life and can be seen in many of her paintings. Diego and Frida lived in the United States for 3 years. Here, she has painted herself on the border between Mexico and the United States. These two countries were contrasting worlds for her. On the right, there are skyscrapers and factories. The American flag almost disappears in a cloud of smoke billowing out of the factory chimney stacks. To the left of Frida, there are ancient temples, mysterious sculptures, and colorful Mexican plants. If you look closely, it is quite clear which of these two worlds Frida felt she belonged to best. In this photo, as in the painting, Frida is wearing a magnificent dress and is sitting in front of ancient sculptures of Mexican folk art. This was the culture of her homeland, which she longed for during her years in the United States. Now here is a strange creature, half human, half animal. The stag has Frida's head, and magnificent antlers are growing through her hair. But the animal's body has lots of arrows sticking in it, and it is bleeding. Frida's pictures often tell of the pain she suffered as a result of her accident. Painting gave her strength and the will to live. This is exactly what she is saying in the stag picture, too. Although the animal is hurt and injured, it is proudly holding its head high as it leaps through the forest. To paint the animal's body, Frida used her pet deer, Granizo, as a model. She loved her pets more than anything else, and she gathered them around her whenever she felt lonely. I love teaching about Frida Kahlo for lots of reasons. She felt things and felt her feelings very deeply, and some of the things about her life have happened to me too. I hurt my back in a very similar way to the way that Frida hurt her back, and I had to stay still and lying down for many months too. Art has helped me through so many of the things that have been difficult in my life, and it helped Frida too. Frida very much loved her home country of Mexico and missed it very much when she was living in the United States. I also lived in a different country for several years and missed my home country dearly and my family. Frida painted herself over and over and over again, often letting out her feelings, like in the picture with the stag, when she had to feel a lot of pain because of her back, which kept on causing her pain throughout her life, even well after the accident. She used the pain that she felt in her artwork and changed the story so that it was more about how strong she was for overcoming the pain than the pain itself, which is super inspiring for people like me and other people who might be going through some pain or illness in their lives right now. I find Frida Kahlo so inspiring, and I hope you do too. And I cannot wait to see your self-portraits that you draw and see what you include. Maybe it's a place that you miss or wish you could be, that you could add to the background. Or maybe it's a pet, like Frida Kahlo's pets, that helps comfort you when you're feeling lonely or sad. I cannot wait to see what you decide to draw. All right, let's get drawing.